The Raiders are forced to make a massive decision surrounding some big-time bucks ahead for one of their big-time offensive options. Dollar signs, the topic of conversation today on Raiders Digest. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to get in on the fun and try to figure out with me who's going to be paying Jakobi Meyers. Will it be the Raiders? Will it be somebody else? I don't know. But what I do know is that number 16, he's trying to get paid. And he's let that be known this time last week to get you caught up to speed. Raiders management, they got together and they came to kind of the conclusion that that new contract after this year for 26 and beyond, that's not happening, at least for now. So Meyers says, I want out. Listen, you're not going to pay me. I want out. Now, whether or not he actually believes that, well, let that play out in itself, because this is not the norm, or I should say this is the norm. This is not foreign. Hold-ins, hold-outs, players show up to work, they don't, they ask for trades, it happens, sometimes it doesn't. And Jakobi Meyers has done a lot of good things in Vegas, on the field, off the field, being a professional, doing things the right way. This was the first time he was asked about it yesterday, about what happened. Did he ask for a trade? How did that conversation go between he and the front office? And kind of concise and simple the way that he's been throughout his entire stay in Vegas. He said, I asked, they said no. And that's where it stopped. He went on to say that he's happy as a Raider, but he also said, I can be happy anywhere. And anywhere, anyone who is willing to pay me some big time dollars. And that's what he's owed. He is owed a sizable raise because since coming to Vegas ahead of the 23 season, he's produced. Last year, over 1,000 yards receiving as the number 2 option in two fewer games, I should say. One that started as Davante Adams essentially his number 2 option, which turned into Brock Bowers after Davante wanted out. And if we're being diplomatic here, Adams did not handle it the right way. Adams took it overly public. Adams went on Pat McAfee. Adams did everything to reiterate that he did not want to wear silver and black anymore, albeit some of it justified because the Raiders were an albatross last year. They were terrible. But still, amidst all that drama, Antonio Pierce drama, coaching changes, Jakobi Meyers stayed consistent. He was a company guy, put his head down, went out there, and played. And as you would expect, he wants to be compensated for such. 3 years, $33 million. That was the first contract that he got before coming to Vegas. You look at how this shakes out now. And the company that he's in right now with that annual average annual value, it goes without saying that the man deserves a raise. He deserves a bump in pay. Again, whether it's the Raiders or whether it's somebody else. The man has outplayed his contract going into his year 29 season, his age 29 season, and he's primed, at least theoretically, to be another consistent number 2 option behind Brock Bowers, and 2, play well, because he's got a lot of things going his way. The company that surrounds him is elite. We know that. There's quarterback play now. There's a running back in the backfield. There are reasons to believe and know that this Raiders offense is going to be good. You have Chip Kelly leading the way. This is arguably the best offense that Jakobi Meyers has played with since Tom Brady was in New England. You can make the case. Perhaps premature on my end. I'm viewing things through silver and black goggles. Perhaps. I don't know. But what I do know, the man is being fair in asking for money. The last receiver to ask for that kind of money, or at least this summer, notable contract that got out, was Terry McLaurin out there in D.C. Same process. Wanted his way out because he didn't get the contract. He and the Commanders, they met in the middle ground, came to a good resolution, and he got a 3-year, $90 million deal. And this is how it breaks down. Washington was not in a spot to mess this one up. Jaden Daniels, top receiving option. The chemistry was immaculate. It was the best Terry has played throughout his career going into his now age 30 season. It was a no-brainer. This circumstance, however, with Vegas is a little bit different. It's a little bit of a different circumstance because the Raiders, for as good as their offense I believe they're going to be, I don't think that the team right now is a Super Bowl contender. So where is the sense of urgency to get something like this done? Is there a sense of urgency? Do they want to keep him? What I do know is that the conversations have not gone particularly well because we would not have gotten to this point had they gone well. We know that. A thing that I'm keeping an eye out for is the emergence of not only the offense going forward and the steps that they can take and the young guys taking the next step, but at the same time, the emergence of Dante Thornton, wide receiver. The 6'5", 430, 40-time receiver, Dante Thornton. If he takes that step, the rookie does, in a season that he will have the opportunities to in some capacity, does that perhaps change the perception of where the team views Jakobi Meyers' value going forward? It's a valid conversation because while Meyers has been all those things I said, he has played very well in Vegas. He has played very well throughout the duration of his career, if we're being honest. He's been a consistent, solid option, especially towards the most recent Raiders tenure. But if we get into the conversation of that scary Terry money, that 3 for 90, that situation where the Raiders, not particularly pinching pennies, but you got to be careful when you're building a team like this, when you're building a team and a culture and a new foundation that needs tinkering here and there to establish that validity, that credibility. You got to be careful with the dollar signs. So, do I anticipate them getting something done? No, I don't. At least in the $90 million category, range, ballpark, whatever you want to call it. I think they're too far off. Is something in the middle worth it for Jakobi Meyers? Absolutely. Absolutely. And for an offense that has done everything the right way going forward, at least this offseason, and building a solid foundation in that context, we're obviously waiting to see how it plays out on the field. Bringing Meyers back would be big time. But the reality of it is this. There's just not a whole lot of money to go around. There isn't. It's the NFL, especially when you're starting from the bottom, which in many respects, the Raiders kind of are. Hey, be sure to come back. Next time, hit that subscribe button. And when you do come back, maybe Jakobi will get his paycheck. Maybe he will not. I don't know. I guess we'll find out then.